I'm Abby Grace.
And I'm Grace also, and we will be leading the meeting on the importance of voting.
Yay!
Okay, so this is going to be about the importance of voting. And so first we have this awesome BuzzFeed video, and it's a bunch of kids explaining why voting is important, and they bring up a lot of really educational points that I think are important for everyone to listen to. So.
This isn't it yet. This is it. Yeah.
People don't think their voice matters, but that is such a lie. Every one vote matters. You should go out and vote if you're 18 or older. This election affects law. Your voice does matter. If you don't vote, let's say Donald Trump has one more person. If you don't vote one more against Donald Trump, he might become the president. And for the Republicans, if one more person votes Hillary Clinton, then Hillary Clinton's going to be president. I think it's important for you to vote for what you believe in and not just stay at home and let other people making the decisions for you. This was a land of opportunity. I feel like if Trump runs, this world is already kind of enough messed up. He can make it even worse. And Donald Trump, you have fans too. I'm not saying this to offend you. I want someone honest and truthful to run this country. Even though I'm not huge for Hillary Clinton, I just think, you gotta go with your gut. No, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna lay down in bed. I need some nachos. Shouldn't you be out there voting? No. That's what happens if you don't vote. You get taken down, Mortal Kombat slam. We want our kids to grow up in a very happy, nice place for them to live a great life, and we need to fix that, and we need a good person to run this country. Go out and vote!
So we just learned many things from that video.
That was straight fire.
Yeah.
That was the cutest thing I've seen.
And it's from 4 years ago too, but it's still so relevant today. Like here we are, 4 years later, doing the same thing. So
those kids are like 10 now.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Wait.
Okay.
How old high schoolers now?
I mean, well, that was 4 years ago, so it depends on how old the kids are.
But they did a great job. Okay, so as some of the kids mentioned, here are some reasons why you should vote. So number one, you can change the course of the election and prevent consequences, which we have pretty much seen within the past 4 years. By voting, you can impact the election and choose the best decision for your future and the next generation. 2, you can also stand up for issues you care about. Voting allows you to take a stand and support making change. With voting, you can contribute to fixing current political issues. Number 3, generations depend on your vote. Some people are unable to vote, and others are deprived of the opportunity. You have the chance to advocate for change and give them a voice. Okay, more reasons why you should vote, part 2. Legislative change. When you vote, you can contribute to changing current laws that are outdated or wrong, which is extremely important because there's a lot of things that we are still working to pass, and especially other laws that are just sitting in the Senate that, like, the more people we elect, the more people can actually make change and work towards passing those laws and legislation. So another one is party in power. If you believe in a certain party and agree with the issues that they are working to change, it is important to vote to keep the right people in power. We want politicians to listen to us and to work towards a safe and equal future. If you don't vote, the decision will be made for you. If you choose not to vote, then partial blame will fall on you for how the election turns out. Not voting is a loss of your voice and will impact those who are minorities.
So how to be an engaged voter? There are 4 main ways that me and Grace came up with that really prove that you are an engaged voter. The first one is reflect. What political issues are really, really important to you? What are you looking for when you decide who you want to vote for? And that goes into number 2, which is research. Which candidate reflects your main concerns and interests? Which one has your best interest in mind? The third one is prepare. You should educate yourself on current issues and what those candidates believe. and how that relates to yourself. And then 4, you should spread. You should tell people why they should vote, not only for your candidate, but just vote in general. Just like use that right that you were given, which is really cool. How to be an engaged voter, part 2. So consider what political issues are most important to you. Your vote is your voice, and it has the ability to create social change. When you vote, it is important to keep those issues in mind and further educate yourself on those laws. An example would be supporting LGBTQIA rights and educating yourself on what candidate is going to advocate for LGBTQ people. So how do I go about researching for candidates? There are so many websites that you can just look up, even if you just type in the information like what does Joe Biden stand for, what does Donald Trump stand for, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages will come up. So you could always just do that too. Once you figure out what information is most important to you, you can begin researching that way. Like you can kind of do it by category, I guess. There's a great thing here on Joe Biden stances. How do you say that? Ballotpedia?
Ballotpedia, yeah.
Cute. This has all the candidates running for 2020. Like all of them since like June of 2019.
I'm pretty sure it also, if you click on a certain candidate, it should also show you what laws they previously have worked on and what they're trying to work towards in this election.
Yeah. Another great resource that I just didn't title for some reason is Planned Parenthood. They have so many amazing issues, and they're not good issues. They're actually horrible. But they have so many great resources to learn about these issues and educate yourself and see what politicians are either fighting for them or fighting against them. And we put a little crown on this guy because he's just reading his little book and he's doing his research, which is exactly what you should be doing. So be more like this guy, because then you'll get a crown too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I've researched, now what? So once you have done your research and voted for your chosen candidate, continue to educate others. Just like the guy who's reading the book, he's continuing to stay updated and educated even after and before the election. So sometimes people are hesitant and aren't quite sure of who to vote for. As an active voter, it's important to keep having tough conversations and educating others on why voting is important. Remember, your vote is your voice, and you have the power to help others when you use it. Encouraging others to vote for the right political issues is a great step towards change, which is something you should never stop doing. Even after voting is over and the election's already been done, you have to keep educating people. So that way when the next election or something comes along, they'll know better now and they'll be more educated before then. Okay, so during this time, we're going to take the time to register to vote if you already haven't registered. So one of the ways you can do this is text FUTURE to 64433, which you can also text register to 64433, and it'll take you to Rock the Vote, where you can register to vote, and you can also send it to your friends who may not be registered to vote. So you can actually register to vote if you're 16 already in North Carolina, which is it's awesome.
Usually also if you get your license or your permit or something, they'll usually go ahead and ask you hey, at the DMV, they'll be hey, do you want to register to vote? And yeah, most people here have done that, I think. So the 2020 election, let's get into this. Youth voters have the highest potential to influence the 2020 election in 10 states, including our state, the lovely, gorgeous state of North Carolina, which is really cool. 4 million Americans will turn 18 in time for the election and will make up about 40% of the vote. That is a very huge population, and we have the power to really change our future and change what we want to get done in this country.
And especially if you imagine all 4 million of those people actually voting, what a difference it would make.
So what's at stake? Let's get into this. So number 1, we got LGBTQ rights. The Trump administration is currently banning trans people from the military. He is supporting people like Pat McCrory, who HB2, that was a whole thing. Transgender healthcare, they're trying to pull healthcare from trans patients so they won't pay for either testosterone or estrogen or top and bottom surgery. He's appointing anti-LGBTQ judges like Brett Kavanaugh, who's not a good guy. Yeah. Immigrants and refugees, roughly 27 million immigrants receive public benefits, and it wouldn't let me screen share this, so I took pictures. So basically, what he's trying to do is treating immigrants like the economy. If they're not wealthy, he's not going to let them get a green card. He's going to try to block them from entering the country, entering through a visa, and entering through anything like that. So that is really, really important. And that's something that I learned today. I did not know that he was doing that. I thought it was based on like a criminal record or something like that. I should have educated myself more on that, and I'm glad that I did. I was following my own steps. So roughly 2,737 children were separated from their families through like literally just taking them from their families, which is disgusting. And if
Locking
that,
them up and putting them in cages too.
yeah, and that won't stop unless he's voted out. You know, climate change. He doesn't listen to climate scientists. He doesn't care about the climate. He doesn't care about the well-being of this planet. He just doesn't care about that at all. He withdrew from the Paris Agreement, which is honestly just so dumb. Like, who does that?
Wasn't that like the very beginning of his presidency too?
I think it was November of 2019.
Really? I thought he did it a lot earlier.
I'm pretty sure it was kind of recent.
I think he's like talked about it in the past too.
Yeah.
He finally did it. It's not cool. We got to get back in that.
It's gross.
Yes.
Our planet is dying, and we need to save it. So.
Period. Honestly. And then women's reproductive rights. He's trying to ban Title X, which gives more than 4 million women the right to birth control. Also, like STD tests, sexual education, tons of other stuff like that goes along with that. Also, 6-week ban laws on abortion. That's become a huge issue. The ACLU has blocked so many of those from like actually becoming in effect, which is really, really good for them. But that's another huge issue that like women especially have to look out for. You know, like 6 weeks. Periods usually come like every 4 weeks, you know? If you miss 2 weeks, you're not going to think, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, which is crazy to me. Do you guys have any other thoughts on like what's really at stake this November?
I was going to add that especially like women who are like irregular with their periods, like that's going to be like so hard to like ever figure out. And the fact that he is so uneducated about it just is like what makes him think that he has the right to like decide these things? Literally nothing.
Just white men deciding what to do with their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's one more thing at stake. Well, obviously a lot more, but the state of like the police is at stake. Like we could just not even go to defunding the police if Trump was still like elected again.
And not just that, but RBG has cancer again.
I know.
And like if she this is really sad because obviously I think she's personally one of the biggest icons in American history, or at least definitely the last century. And if she would die, that would be a huge tragedy. But upon that, she would probably be replaced if it was Trump with someone that directly inhibited women's rights, which would just be such a slap in the face for everything that she stood for. So yeah.
Definitely. I think also like gun violence and like school shootings and stuff.
Oh yeah, well, and also like with right now since we're at home, you know, like kids are getting a hold of a bunch of unsecure guns, and I think like news reports in Durham, there's been a lot of like kids accidentally getting their parents' weapons. So.
Mm-hmm.
And domestic violence too is also on the rise, especially in quarantine, which is super scary.
Yeah, and like women can't exactly get away from their abuser right now, which sucks.
Exactly.
It makes it harder to access those resources.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add? Cool.
Well, I mean, I also think that since some people are going back to school, like this coming fall. Like some states are deciding to go back to school, which I think is like crazy. But like just think about everything, like even if there was like a possible school shooter or like lockdown dates or something like that. But then there's also like, the threat of like everyone's health, and it's just crazy that like politicians are like deciding these things, especially in certain places where they aren't ready to go back.
Yes.
Yeah, and right now, like, as I'm working on Sydney Batch's campaign, one of the things is that if they were to go back, we need to work on definitely like mental health for them, because who knows, they could have family members who are suffering not just from COVID but from other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like we want to implement all the like mental health resources as much as we can and get like enough of that fundraising for it.
Mental health period is so underfunded. It has been for a long time.
It's very true, especially in schools and everything.
Yeah.
I got a quick question for y'all. Did you guys have like guidance counselors in high school?
So for us, we just had our counselors kind of focused a lot on, like, classes and also college. So that was kind of what it was for me.
I mean, they were very nice people, but they were mostly concerned about classes and how you're doing in those classes, like more academically. I feel like you could talk to them, but they just had so many students that they were going to be keeping track of. It was hard to schedule like a meeting one-on-one with them.
I feel like it was hard for them to make it a priority because maybe they weren't equipped with the right tools, or like maybe not educated enough on how to deal with situations, which they should be. They should be more educated on everything.
Yeah,
They
should be. Yeah, they should be more trained. Definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yay! Now you know the importance of voting. Go out and tell people.
Yay!
Go out and educate. You gotta educate people about the importance of voting, or else they won't vote.
Awareness is your greatest weapon.
Yep. Just like that kid.
Registered to vote too.
Yes. Don't be like that guy that the kid was talking about eating nachos.
Yes.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you'll get.
Be like the book guy with the crown. Be like him.
Let me go back. Let me find that. Look at him. He's just a king.
A true king.
Can you guys see that?
Also, are those links in the drive?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the recording.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.